We're talking poinsettias today on Pots and Trowels, and that's brought to you with the support of Cobra Garden and Darlac. Hello and welcome to Pots and Trowels. Well, here we are now, early December, and it's less than 3 weeks until we get to Christmas. And already lots of people are thinking about how they can decorate their homes for the festive period. And one way is to bring in houseplants. And this is probably the most popular houseplant that we bring in at that time of the year. It's the lovely poinsettia. Originally it comes from Mexico, where it grows to be a big shrub. It will go to several metres tall, big shrubby plant, and it will just come back year after year. But of course we grow them just for the one season, and they've been very clever with the breeding because they've now bred them to be much dwarfer to make them suitable as a house plant. Also, colours have changed. This is the traditional colour, this lovely bright scarlet red. These are the bracts, so they start as a leaf-like structure, and then as the days get shorter they naturally change. So they are dependent on day length before that can happen. But you can also now get yellowy, creamy bracts on them or pink ones. So the choice is yours really. And this is how you would buy it. It would be usually in a polythene or cellophane sleeve. If you buy it from a garden centre or a supermarket, bear in mind, because these come from a warmer climate down there in Mexico, they need warmth. They are a warm, loving plant. They hate cold weather. They hate drafts. They would just completely drop their foliage very, very quickly in those conditions. So if you are buying one, buy it from somewhere warm, like a garden centre or a supermarket, but never from a garage forecourt or an outdoor market store, because that will have been chilled. And then when you get it home, usually a few days after, it will start to defoliate. The sleeve is there to give it some protection as well, and if it's really cold when you buy it, ask the shop if they can put a paper bag around it, or sometimes in an old cardboard box. Get it in the car, don't leave it for hours in the cold because it won't like it. So when you get it, first thing you need to do, if you've got it home, is to take the sleeve off. So I just do it. Often you can cut it off, but I don't have any scissors with me at the minute, so what I'm going to do is just slide that down like that and take it out. So this is not a large one, you get various sizes. This is probably one of the smaller ones. These have very often been in these sleeves for several days before you buy them, so it's inevitable that one or two leaves will have fallen off. So I need to just pick those off from around the base, and if you've got the odd leaf on there, like there's one in there that's looking a little bit yellow, just take that off. That isn't too much to worry about, to be fair. Sometimes if you give it a shake, anything that's yellow will fall off. So we can just tidy those away like that. Now this one feels quite light, which tells me that the compost is drying out. Now these are plants that need moisture, but they don't like to be soggy and they don't like to be too dry. If they get dry, they tell you very quickly they will wilt. So the aim is to keep this just moist. So what I will do when I pop this in its pot holder is to give this a drink so that the compost feels moist, but I'll never allow it to stand in water and be soggy. And obviously I don't want to look at this pot, so it's quite nice to put them in one of these pot holders like this. So I'm going to pop that in there where it instantly looks better. The secret is when you have watered it, any water standing in the base needs to be tipped away, because again that will create those waterlogged conditions. So keep it moist, only water it again when you feel the compost and you think it's starting to dry out. The temperature wise, ideally it needs between 16 and 21 degrees centigrade. That's around 65 to 70 Fahrenheit. So most houses are okay with that. But again, avoid a very cold room. If you've got a room that hasn't got any heating in it, then this isn't the plant for that. This needs to be where you've got some heating. And it also needs good light. So ideally, a windowsill is perfect where it's got the light coming in. Bearing in mind, of course, at this time of the year, we only get short days. So that's why we need this light. So I'm going to put this one on our windowsill. Now the thing is, sometimes when you draw the curtains at night, it makes a cold area there. So if you're worried that it's going to get chilled, the thing to do at night is to take it off the windowsill and bring it into the room, and then the following day it can go back on the windowsill, and avoid any drafty places. And if you can give it the temperature, keep it moist and plenty of light, this will look good for several weeks. It will go on well into the new year. I've known people often had these looking really good, as late as March or April time before they start to go back to green. Now very often people get to the new year and after Christmas has gone, they just throw this away, stick it in the compost bin. But if you want to, you can keep it. And the secret to it is to prune it down in about March, April time, and then it will bush out, make growth, and then hopefully colour up for you next year. And maybe we'll have a look at that another time. So here it is. All I'm going to do now is give this a drink, drop of water, because it does feel a little bit dry, and then hopefully that will not drop any leaves and it will stay looking good for a long time so we can enjoy it in the room. Well, thank you for watching Pots and Trowels, and remember you can look at all of our gardening videos on YouTube. Next week I'm going to be showing you how to move a large established shrub in the garden. So we'll see you then. Bye.